Released in November 2001, WWF Smackdown Just Bring It was the last game to release under the WWF name and the first in the series to release on PlayStation 2. Utilising the power of the PlayStation 2's hardware, Smackdown Just Bring It was able to offer up a host of new features, including the ability to have up to 8 players on screen at the same time. Due to the game releasing just 4 months after the beginning of the invasion angle that seen superstars of WCW and ECW invade the WWF, Just Bring It felt somewhat outdated upon its release, as there were no signs of the new WCW or the ECW talent seen on TV. Due to the game's reduced roster, there were also a host of WWF stars missing, as following Smackdown 2, which featured a series high of 66 playable superstars, Just Bring It saw many stars removed, offering up just 44 characters to choose from. Of the 44 superstars that were included, 9 of these were new to the game, with 8 appearing in the series for the first time. These new additions included Jerry Lynn, Molly Holly, Raven, Rhino, Spike Dudley, Tajiri, William Regal, and The Big Show, who was originally intended to make his debut in Smackdown 2, but was removed from that game during development after he was taken off TV. Also included was Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst, who became the first celebrity to appear in the series after he requested that THQ include him as a playable character as part of an agreement that would allow them to use the Limp Bizkit track Rollin', which at the time was used by the American badass Undertaker. To unlock Fred Durst, players had to play as The Undertaker and defeat 15 opponents in the game's new Slobber Knocker mode, which tasked players with defeating as many opponents as they could within the 10-minute time limit. If you were able to defeat 15 or more opponents, then this would see the following message pop up at the conclusion of the match, confirming that Fred Durst was now unlocked and available to use as a playable character. Selecting Fred would see him driven down a ringside in a lowrider as he danced around and performed Rollin'. Despite the game releasing with 44 superstars, the original roster was set to include a lot more, however multiple stars were cut from the game during development. These removals included D'Lo Brown, Tiger Ali Singh, Joey Abs, Rodney and Pete Gas, all of which were removed after being sent back to developmental. Meanwhile, Chaz China, Gangrel and Tori were all removed after leaving the company. Paul Bearer, Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson, Just Incredible and X-Pac all found themselves removed after being taken off TV. Grandmaster Sexay was fired, and both Scotty 2 Hotty and Mark Henry were removed due to them being off TV due to injury. Despite the removal of these stars, the majority of them do have leftover data on the game disc, most notably in the form of commentary. Also included with the leftover commentary are announce calls for the New Age Outlaws and Get Rowdy, which confirm that there were initial plans to include Road Dogg and K-Quick prior to Road Dogg's firing. Also removed were 5 planned Alliance superstars, Booker T, Chuck Palumbo, DDP, The Hurricane and Tori Wilson, all of which would go on to feature in the next game in the series, Smackdown Shut Your Mouth. Alongside new superstars, Just Bring It also included a host of new features, including the ability to hold both 6 and 8-man matches, with this game being the only one in the series to feature 8 players on screen until the release of WWE 2K18 some 17 years later. Other new features include the addition of a second finishing move, which was a welcome addition to stars who only had a top rope finisher, as this allowed them to include a second finisher that could be used from a standing position. For the first time, players could also edit a superstar's moveset, as Just Bring It introduced a new Edit Moves option, which would later become Create a Moveset. This change was one of the biggest new additions to the game, as it allowed players to fully customize the moves of all the superstars on the roster. However, this early version of the mode wasn't just limited to moves, as players could also edit their superstars' entrance and victory motions all under the same section. Also a first for the series was the ability to fight in the crowd, as running towards the barricade on the left or right side of the ring would see the player leap over it, causing the crowd to disperse and creating an open area to brawl in. Another big change seen the introduction of commentary, with the game featuring the Smackdown announce team of Michael Cole and Taz. Whilst commentary was a feature that had been highly requested leading into the game, the reaction to it didn't go down as well as planned, as commentary lines would only trigger on sporadic occasions and would see the same lines repeated over and over again. Of the problems, the biggest one was the way the commentary was coded, as rather than recording lines for each superstar individually, instead the team recorded a set of generic lines that the game would play, and then it would follow it up with a separate recording of the player's name or a specific move, which caused the commentary to sound really odd and really disjointed.
Just look! Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H will be having a match. This singles match will be an important match. I'm sure Stone Cold Steve Austin will win.
As part of the commentary system, the developers had planned to include a picture-in-play system that would see a small box appear in the corner of the screen that would show the commentators whenever commentary played. However, despite being announced and shown off in screenshots, this feature never made it to the final game. Also removed for the final release were the 3D commentator models, as the announce tables at ringside were updated to feature 2D cutouts, despite the fact that the back of the game's box art shows 3D models for both Michael Cole and Taz. Whilst the idea of using picture-in-play to show the commentary team was taken out, the developers did repurpose the feature to work with interference. Whenever a superstar appeared on the ramp and was about to make a run-in, a small box would appear in the top corner showing a close-up shot of the star on the stage, effectively warning the player that someone was about to run in. Smackdown Just Bring It Season Mode was a new take on the mode, replacing the continuous version seen in the first two games. Rather than one continuous season with random matches and cutscenes, the new mode gave players much more freedom, allowing them to decide if they wanted to take part in certain storylines, choose tag team partners, and even opt to challenge for a specific title. The best thing about this was that each of the storylines featured multiple choices, which depending on the choice that you made would lead to different scenarios playing out. These choices would also lead to the unlocking of new superstars, as playing out specific stories in a certain way would see your character interact with locked superstars who would then become available to play. Tying this all together was a brand new free roaming element that seen players able to walk around the entire arena both inside and out, where they could freely interact with other superstars. This feature was one of the biggest changes, and it really helped bring the game's story mode to life, as the ability to freely navigate the building and interact with superstars gave a new sense of freedom that put the player firmly in control of what they were doing. Another new addition came in the form of show intros, as the beginning of a show featured an in-game recreation of that show's intro, with 8 superstars brawling and performing their finishes. In the months prior to the game's release, WWE changed the Smackdown stage from its original setup to the popular Smackdown Fist Arena. However, rather than making this the default arena in-game, players were forced to unlock it. In order to unlock the arena, players had to score 15 or more wins in Slobber Knocker mode using the Rock, which would then see a pop-up appear confirming the arena was now unlocked. Once unlocked, the arena can be selected in the match options, where it's listed as the new Smackdown Arena. During Perry Saturn's entrance, he can be seen making his way down to ringside with his best friend Moppy, who is actually included as a hidden weapon. Moppy can be found when entering the crowd on the right side of the ring, where you can pick her up and use her against your opponent. After performing a strong move, should you notice your opponent laying on the mat with their arms outstretched, then this is an indication that they're ready to be pinned, and that you'll get a 3 count if you pin them. This trick is extremely useful when playing a Slobber Knocker match, as attempting a pinfall whenever this animation is shown will guarantee a 3 count and save you from wasting a finisher. When playing through season mode and coming across a free roam segment, a timer appears at the top of the screen showing how much time you have to speak to someone or find a specific area, leading players to believe that they do have to do something before the timer runs out. Whilst this is implied, in reality letting the timer run out is actually a valid option, and in some circumstances is required to unlock the likes of Jerry Lynn. Aside from these secrets, there was also a big rumour that you could unlock Michael Cole and use him as a playable character if you approached him in season mode, accepted his challenge and then defeated him. Whilst this rumour was entirely believable due to Cole appearing in season mode during interviews, in reality the only way to unlock Cole as a playable character was with the use of an action replay code. Smackdown Just Bring It featured a mostly positive reception, averaging a review score of 76 on Metacritic based on 24 critical reviews. The game also sold really well, selling more than 400,000 units, leading to it receiving a re-release as part of Sony's Greatest Hits collection, this time under the WWE name. All in all, Smackdown Just Bring It was a great addition to the series, and it really helped take the game to the next level by building on Smackdown 2 and then utilising the power of next gen to offer up numerous new features such as 8 players on screen, custom movesets, free roaming, crowd fighting and commentary. And whilst a lot of those features did receive mixed reactions, the amount of changes and the innovation behind them have to be applauded, especially when these days one of the biggest arguments is that there's little change. So that's our look back at WWF Smackdown Just Bring It. If you enjoyed this bit of nostalgia and you'd like to see more, then please do leave us a like to show your support and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.